Welcome to the 0 people watching this live right now. I'm just trying to StreamYard. I've been looking to see, what streaming services I might want to use to get involved into like the streaming thing. OBS was cool. Well, it was confusing, but it was all right. I also tried, was it stream something else, but this is kind of, I've used StreamYard in the past. Shannon, who me and Shannon, my old co-host, my podcast, we used to use StreamYard to use. Well, she used it for her podcast, so I tried it for a bit, and I'm back because it's the simpler option for me for what I'm doing and just shit talking really. I'm kind of here seeking advice and help about anxiety and panic attacks because I had a panic attack February 1st last year, and I haven't been the same since. Like, not even close to who I was before the panic attack. And A, I would like to know, is this normal? B, how long until I feel like myself? And C, kind of any tips people have for, I guess, dealing with whatever I'm dealing with right now until I am over the worst parts of the panic/anxiety. I've suffered from anxiety for a good while now. I think probably it started when I got jumped coming from work in my like mid-teens, not teens and teenagers, my mid-20s. Sorry. I remember after that happened, I was very afraid to walk at night by myself. If I did have to walk home during the nighttime, I was jumpy, looking over my shoulder all the time. Like if the wind blew a plastic bag, I would jump. And I never really dealt with that for my mid-20s. So, but eventually it kind of retreated. And yeah, I was still anxious at nighttime, but I can go through my day. Even before I got jumped, I probably was more anxious than most of my peers. But again, it was to such a low degree. I was able to still like function, in society and not really pay attention to it. What happened recently, February 1st, I was at my job. It's what time? Yeah, it was around 3:15, 3:20. And I only know this because I started work at 8 o'clock. So 4 o'clock, I was out, right? I was having a good day. Thursdays, like I get paid weekly. So it was payday. So I have more money in my pocket. I'm leaving at 4 o'clock. This was before daylight saving time. So the sun is still out. And so I was in a good mood. And I was on my way to get mail. The mailroom's in the basement of the building that I work in. And so on my way to getting the mail, I turned a corner, and it felt like almost like the left side of my body was like shocked, like boom. And I was like, "Ooh!" And I stopped walking and collected myself, and I never felt a sensation like that ever, like in my life. And I was like, okay, well, cool. That's weird, but listen, I'm gonna get the mail. Once I finish getting the mail, I go upstairs. I'll be, home, sleep it off, whatever, right? After I stop for like maybe 30, 40 seconds, I continue to go get the mail. And on my way back from getting the mail, that's when I was like, oh yeah, something is really wrong and I'm not going to make it. And I work in a hospital, right? Now, I'm not a nurse or a doctor, so I don't work for the hospital, but I work in a role in the hospital. So I'm on my way back to my department, and a nurse sees me in the hallway, and she's like, "Sir, are you okay?" And I'm walking, and I was like, "No, I can't. I don't think I'm okay." I'm leaning against the wall. I have the package in my hand, and I feel like I can't breathe. So, I put my back on the wall, and she's like, sir, you want to sit down? And I was like, well, if I sit down, I'm not sure I'll be able to get back up. So I'm just leaning against the wall, and she goes and she flags down somebody else in the hallway, another nurse, and they go and they bring, a wheelchair, and I sit down in the wheelchair, and they wheel my big ass to the emergency department. In there, they see me, they bring me in, they called me for a possible stroke. because I was saying I couldn't breathe and that I felt like the shocking on my left side. And, after about 3-4 minutes, a bunch of doctors came in and they're looking at me and they asked me, hey, can you put your palms like this? Can you, smile? Can you, hey, and ask me questions, did I take anything that day? Any drugs? I'm like, no, I don't do any drugs. I haven't, and I overheard one of the doctors in the emergency room say to another doctor. So he didn't say this to me, but I'm paying attention. And he goes, I'm pretty sure he's having a panic attack. Now, they never told me I had a panic attack. After the team of doctors came and they asked me to do X, Y, and Z, and they felt comfortable that okay, he wasn't having a heart attack. They did an EKG on my heart. They literally took me to get a scan of my lungs, and my lungs were fine. And so they took my blood, ran some blood tests, and then after they did all of that, I think she was a physician assistant. She came to me and she said, "Well, look, all your charts are clear, everything is clear. So we're gonna go ahead and discharge you. And if you feel worse, just come back to the emergency room, right?" And so I'm like, wow. Call my pops. He comes to pick me up, and it was so strange. Make it back to my apartment in the Bronx, because I work in Manhattan, like most people in New York City. Make it to my apartment in the Bronx, and that was Thursday, February 1st, on Thursday. Normally, I'm also an organist that I play at church on Sundays. And I called my pastor and I was like, I'm not coming into church. I have this medical episode. I need to just get right. From that Thursday night up until the following Monday when I had to go back to work, I felt like shit, like just bad. Like, and I felt bad. I would go into my kitchen to make something on the stove. I'll turn the stove off, and then I'll start to get lightheaded. And I was like, what is happening to me, right? Went to the grocery store to get some cat food for my kitten, and I'm standing online, and there was a lot of people in line as well. And I just feel myself, starting to get lightheaded. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, what's happening here? Making it from there to back to my apartment, and I have to go to work on Monday. So Monday comes, going to the office. My train ride to my job was bad, right? So again, this is Monday. I had a panic attack on Thursday, so I'm on a train going to and I feel like the roller coaster flush. If you ride a roller coaster or anything, and you get on the ride and you just feel like. And so I'm standing on the train, just trying to breathe and stuff, because when I came home during that weekend, all I did was Google, anxiety and what the panic attacks and everything. And again, they did not diagnose me or say, "Oh, you had a panic attack." I just overheard the doctor tell another doctor that I'm pretty sure he had a panic attack. And from what I read on the internet, it seemed to line up pretty well with, "Oh, yeah, you got a panic attack." So I'm on a train, closing my eyes, holding on to the rail, trying to breathe slow to make sure I don't have another episode because on Thursday, I thought I was going to die. Like, I really want to make this point clear. You couldn't tell me I was not about to die in the basement of my job coming back from the mailroom. Everything about that experience felt like death. So I'm on a train ride to work, and I had an opening shift that Monday, 7 a.m. So I'm coming in super early. No one else is there, and where I work at, I have to open everything, of course. So, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm a train. I got to make sure I'm able to get there. And eventually I get to work, but I still feel terrified. Like, I felt really bad Monday. I felt bad that Tuesday as well. Wednesday, I started to feel a little bit better, right? Thursday comes back around, and once again, I'm up doing my walkthroughs in my department, like we have to do. And I feel, as I'm walking, I feel like this tightening on my left leg. Like it's almost like I was walking and it was like a rubber band that was tightening around my thigh, if that makes sense. Made it all the way to back to my desk, and I was like, oh shit. Now, something's wrong with me. Like this isn't normal. I'm having these weird physical symptoms. There's no way this is just like in my head. So again, I work in a hospital, so I decide, well, you know what? I'm going to urgent care as soon as I get off work. I had to close that night. Closed, took my ass right to the urgent care, and went there. I didn't have to wait long. Talked to one of the doctors, and apparently they were afraid that I might have a blood clot in my left leg, right? And it was more of a precautionary thing. She was telling me that, people come in with your symptoms saying that, they have like this tightening around their leg and stuff. And, we just want to make sure that it's not a blood clot that kind of traveled to the leg. And so I found my ass once again right back in the ER. Again, got an ultrasound on my leg. Sorry if I said x-ray. Ultrasound on my left leg. Everything was cool. And so, but I didn't make it home till like midnight. Come back home. And again, I called off that next Friday. So this is the second week in a row, 2 Fridays in a row, me not at work because of this panic attack that I had. And I'm putting quotes only because they never diagnosed me. I'm just going off what the doctor told somebody else. Cool. Since then, I started talk therapy, and I felt good. I also started, using my CPAP machine. I have sleep apnea. I try to do everything that I could to make myself physically well so that it could help in any way, shape, or form my mental health, right? And, if I'm being honest, that week that I had a panic attack, February 1st, that entire week I wasn't sleeping well. So what I was doing, I was drinking like a large cup of coffee at work every day that week. And I don't normally drink coffee. So I'm not a natural coffee guy, right? So I don't have a tolerance for it really. I might drink some iced coffee during the summertime because, it tastes good, but I'm not really built for as much caffeine as I was drinking that week, and not having, sorry, the comment popped up and just threw me off. So I'm not built for drinking coffee, the rate that I was drinking it. And so I think between me being sleep deprived and me drinking all that coffee, the combination is what kind of caused me to have, the panic attack. So what I would learn from my therapist that I'm talking to right now is, panic attacks are kind of they can happen out of nowhere, but most of the time there's like an underlying reason for the panic attack. Are you stressed? Are you someone who is very anxious? Are you, are there unspoken things you have to deal with? Maybe you aren't even aware of. And so I've been working through all of that. And I was really hoping, coming to the internet, and coming to the internet is like the worst thing you can do sometimes. But in this case, it's been some weeks since then. My panic attack happened February 1st. Since then, there haven't really been anything near what I went through February 1st, but I haven't felt like myself. It is affecting my behavior, my anxiety, and my fears of what happened on February 1st, where I'm kind of scheduling my life around my anxiety and, the fear of having another panic attack. Now, I haven't had anything happen to me to the degree of like what happened to me February 1st. That said, when I was on the train, like maybe 2 weeks ago, coming home, I had the worst panic/anxiety attack second to what happened there. Like I'm sitting on the train, and you couldn't tell me that somebody did not have like a heating pad like right here in my chest. Like it felt so hot, like so warm. Like you couldn't. That's how crazy it was. I had the tingling on my face, and I'm sitting there. Luckily, I had a seat, so I'm sitting down, and I'm sitting down like breathing. Trying to calm my breathing. I had my eyes closed the entire time. Just really trying to focus. And I felt that way probably from 59th Street up until I got back, you know, where I get off in the Bronx. And that kind of set me back. And it was like starting back from square one, from square one, because I felt like I was making progress, you know, with the talk therapy. And there's some weird comments from Twitch. Like with the talk therapy and me going to sleep every night, make sure I get at least 7 hours of sleep every night. I haven't drank any coffee since the first of February. I make sure that I walk at least 10 minutes every day. Although it's like 20 minutes. Like I don't take the bus anymore. Just so I can walk to the train, which is like a 10-minute walk, going to work and coming home from work. You know, just to get out some of that you know, stress. But I don't feel like myself when I'm at church on the organ. I don't feel like myself. I feel like cloudy and like it's hard for me to focus. And sometimes I'm talking at rehearsal and I feel like it's hard for me to breathe. And like, you know, when is this going to be over? You know, when am I going to be back to who I was before February 1st? And who I was before February 1st wasn't that great either. I had the anxiety. I did. You know, I was anxious about a lot of things, but I was able to move about the world without the fear of having, you know, a physical breakdown like I am now. And I'm changing my behavior. I'm not spending time with my family like I was before. I like to go to work and straight home as quick as possible. You know, I don't like any detours. I don't like, you know, any of that stuff. And it's, you know, I talk to my therapist, you know, and she tells me that, you know, progress isn't linear. And I know she's right too. You know, progress isn't linear, that, you know, I am making progress. And, you know, we talk about grounding techniques, and we talk about, you know, breathing exercises, and we talk about, you know, me journaling, you know, to get certain things out. And I'm thinking to myself, is this going to be my normal, like forever? Like, am I always going to be in this space where unless I do X, Y, and Z, I can't walk out the house without having a breakdown? And does anybody know anything that works, right? Because I feel like anxiety probably is a lot more prevalent than I was aware of, because people may be really good at handling it, or people just you know, treat themselves out of the public eye. And so really, like I said, this was just kind of me testing my, you know, StreamYard live stuff, but also just to hear from people. Maybe it looks like it's not going to be during this live, because, you know, I see like 10 people watching, but all I have is like 2 weird comments from one is a different streaming service, and one is a white person who is promoting white people and how they are responsible for a lot. Hold on. We white people make up 70% of the total population in the world. Our race is a minority on the planet, but we are responsible for 99% of things discovered, built, created. We shape, we influence everything on this world. And this is so beautiful. I'm so proud to be white. I think there's nothing wrong with being proud to be white, I guess. You know, do you? So yeah, I doubt I'm gonna get any advice tonight or today. As you can see, is, you know, the day. But even if you happen to watch this video later on, any advice you can give me to kind of get back to normal is much appreciated. If you suffer from panic attacks, if you suffer from anxiety attacks, really bad anxiety, if you did and you've been able to kind of get past it, I would love for you to drop a comment below, or, you know, send me an email. You know, I'm on Reddit, you know, looking through things and, you know, reading things online, but I know there has to be like tips and tricks that other people have that, you know, they just don't post about, that I would love to have for myself. Because when I tell you I'm trying my damnness to just get past this, I am. I really am. it's helped me kind of be more grateful for life in a way, because before this, again, I wasn't living much of a life anyway. I was still going to work, home, school as well. And so, I pulled out of school. I'm right now. I just work and come home. Uh, I don't really visit my family that often. When I go over there, I might stay there for like a 10 minutes or half hour, and then I leave to come back home because I'm scared to be away from home. Um, it's a lot, and so any advice that you have would be much appreciated. Uh, Apologies for this empty ass room for my first stream. I thought about not streaming at all, but I figured, it's just a test. Who cares? And I've seen way worse on these streams. Trust me. Uh, but look, any advice you can give me would be much appreciated. So make sure you follow me. Also, if you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching me on YouTube, subscribe to my page here. More lives coming about actual topics, not just my anxiety. But yeah, any advice you can give me would be much appreciated. Okay? Until next time. Deuces.